Calcia, a name whispered on the winds, a symphony of emerald isles strung together by sapphire seas. This tropical kingdom was a paradise born of fire. Volcanic peaks, now dormant, clawed at the sky. Their slopes were draped in lush rainforests that teemed with life. Waterfalls cascaded down the mountainsides, feeding rivers that snaked through vibrant valleys. The people of Calcia were as diverse as their land. They were a tapestry of cultures, woven together by the threads of tradition and the warmth of the tropical sun. Fishermen cast their nets in the turquoise waters, their songs echoing across the waves. Farmers coaxed life from the fertile volcanic soil, their laughter mingling with the calls of exotic birds. Artisans, renowned throughout the land, crafted wonders from wood, shell, and stone. Life in Calcia was a rhythm as old as time, a dance between the people and their environment, a testament to their resilience and their deep connection to the land. But beneath the surface of this idyllic existence, a storm was brewing, a storm that threatened to shatter the peace of paradise. Prince Lehia was next in line to the throne, yet the weight of his lineage felt less like a crown and more like a cage. Lehia was not like the kings of old. He wasn't a warrior king, his name echoing with tales of conquest. Nor was he known for his cunning, a master strategist outwitting his enemies. Lehia was normal. He found solace not in the clang of training swords, but in the quiet rustle of scrolls in the royal library. He preferred the company of scholars and poets to the boisterous camaraderie of the royal guard. His heart yearned not for the battlefield, but for the simple joy of connecting with his people.
Your Highness, his advisors would chide, a king must be strong, a figure of power and authority.
But Lehia felt a disconnect between the image they painted and the reality that stirred within him. He was a sapling in the shadow of towering trees, unsure of his place in the grand tapestry of Calcia. Lehia found solace in the company of two individuals. The first was the Grand Minister, a man as ancient as the kingdom itself. His wisdom, it was said, flowed deeper than the rivers that nourished their land. The Grand Minister saw past Lehia's doubts, recognizing a different kind of strength within the young prince.
True strength, he would counsel, lies not in the force of your sword, but in the sharpness of your mind and the compassion in your heart.
He taught Lehia the art of diplomacy, the power of words, and the importance of listening to the whispers of his people. The second was Abdul, the blind poet. Abdul saw the world through a different lens. He saw not with his eyes, but with his heart, finding beauty in the simplest of things.
He taught Lehia to appreciate the rhythm of life, the interconnectedness of all beings, and the power of stories to shape destinies.
One day, a terrible storm ravaged the southern islands. The sea, once a source of life, turned into a raging beast. Villages were flooded, crops destroyed, and families torn apart. The court was in turmoil. Advisors panicked, generals argued amongst themselves, each proposing a different course of action. But Lehia, guided by the Grand Minister's wisdom and Abdul's empathy, remained calm. He rallied the people. He organized relief efforts, sending supplies and aid to the affected islands. He calmed the panicked nobles, assuring them that Calcia would rebuild, stronger than before. He listened to the stories of loss and resilience, offering comfort and hope. For the first time, Lehia felt a shift within himself. The doubts that had plagued him began to recede. He saw the fear in the eyes of his people and realized that his normality, his compassion and empathy were not weaknesses, but strengths.
He was not meant to be a warrior king or a cunning strategist. He was meant to be a shepherd, guiding his people through the storm.
Section 5. A King's True Strength. Word of Lehia's leadership spread throughout the kingdom. The people saw in him a different kind of ruler, one who did not rule from a place of power, but from a place of love.
My people, your struggles are my struggles, your triumphs are my triumphs.
His empathy resonated with them. His calmness reassured them. He was not a distant figure on a throne, but one of them, sharing their burdens and celebrating their triumphs. Under Lehia's guidance, Calcia rebuilt. But it was a different Calcia that emerged from the ashes. The storm had stripped away the veneer of complacency, revealing the true strength that lay at the heart of the kingdom. It was the strength of unity, of compassion, of a people bound together by their shared humanity.
Together, we are stronger than any storm that may come our way.
Lehia's reign was marked by peace and prosperity. He invested in education, healthcare, and the arts, believing that a nation's true wealth lay not in its coffers, but in the well-being of its people. He promoted trade and diplomacy, forging alliances with neighboring kingdoms. He understood that true strength lay not in domination, but in cooperation.
Our wealth is in our people and our strength is in our unity.
Section 6. The Tides of Change. As years turned into decades, a new threat emerged on the horizon. The Mardanistical Empire, known for its ruthlessness and insatiable hunger for power, had set its sights on Chalcea. Their ships, adorned with the menacing insignia of a golden kraken, began to appear in Chalcean waters. Fear gripped the hearts of the people. The Mardanistical Empire was vast and powerful. Its armies were legend. Its warriors feared throughout the land. Whispers of war filled the air, casting a shadow over the once peaceful islands.
We have faced storms before, and we shall face this one with the same resolve.
Lehia, however, remained calm. He had faced storms before, both literal and metaphorical. He knew that panic would only weaken them. He called upon the wisdom of the Grand Minister, the empathy of Abdul, and the courage of his people.
With wisdom, empathy, and courage, we will stand strong against any threat.
Section 7. The Calm Before the Storm. The council chambers were abuzz with tension. Generals, their faces etched with worry, debated military strategy. Advisors argued amongst themselves, their voices rising in panic.
But Lehia sat silently, listening intently. He knew that a direct confrontation with the Mardanistical Empire would be disastrous. Chalcea's strength lay not in its military might, but in its unity, its resourcefulness, and its strategic location.
Lehia had a plan born not of fear but of understanding. He dispatched his most trusted diplomats to neighboring kingdoms, reminding them of the bonds they shared, the values they held dear. He rallied his people, reminding them of their shared history, their resilience, and their unwavering spirit. Section 8. The Heart of a King. The Mardanistical Armada arrived on the horizon, a menacing wall of iron and sail. Their ships dwarfed those of Chalcea, their numbers seemingly endless. The sight sent shivers down the spines of even the bravest warriors.
But as the Mardanistical ships drew closer, they found themselves surrounded, not by warships, but by hundreds of fishing boats, their colorful sails billowing in the wind.
On each boat stood not soldiers, but ordinary men and women, their faces a mixture of defiance and determination. They had answered their king's call. Fishermen, farmers, artisans, all united in their defense of their home. They blocked the Mardanistical ships from reaching the main islands, their small boats proving surprisingly difficult to navigate around. The Mardanistical admiral, used to quick victories and overwhelming force, found himself outsmarted and outmaneuvered. Section 9. The Legacy of Lehia. The stalemate lasted for weeks. The Mardanistical Empire, used to brute force, found itself frustrated by Chalcea's unorthodox defense. Their supplies began to dwindle, their patience wearing thin.
It was then that Lehia made his move. He sent a single emissary to the Mardanistical flagship, bearing a message of peace. He offered the Mardanistical Empire a trade agreement, access to Chalcea's strategic ports, and the promise of friendship. In return, he asked only that they respect Chalcea's sovereignty.
The Mardanistical admiral, weary of the stalemate and impressed by Lehia's wisdom, agreed. The Mardanistical Empire, used to taking what it wanted, found itself entering into a mutually beneficial alliance. The people of Chalcea had won, not through might, but through their unity, their resilience, and the quiet strength of their king. Section 10. Echoes of Chalcea. King Lehia's reign became the stuff of legends. He was remembered not for his conquests or his wealth, but for his wisdom, his compassion, and his unwavering belief in the power of unity. He showed the world that true strength lay not in brute force, but in the quiet dignity of a people united, in the wisdom of listening rather than demanding, and in the courage to choose peace over conflict. Even today, centuries later, the story of Lehia, the reluctant ruler, is told and retold throughout the lands of Chalcea. It serves as a reminder that true leadership lies not in titles or power, but in the quiet strength of character, in the courage to embrace one's true self, and in the unwavering belief in the power of humanity. The echoes of his reign, like the gentle waves lapping at the shores of his beloved lands, continue to inspire generations.